All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates, I'm Jenna Cottrell. We're going to be talking Super Bowl, but before we do, please be sure to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to the Buffalo Plus channel if you enjoy what we have to say. Mike, Dan, Eagles, Chiefs, Super Bowl 57 out in Arizona. Mike.
Eagles fan.
Yeah. Eagles fan.
I mean, look, I've followed that team for 50 years, literally 50 plus years.
I was to say, I was like, wouldn't it be more?
Yeah, it's a little bit more than that. And this is the most talented team they've had. And, you know, we cover the Bills on a weekly basis. You guys know that, right? And seeing how the Eagles roster stacks up with the Bills is really something to see, because I think they're almost the opposite. Look, they all have great players. There's players around, but the Eagles' strength is up front.
Yeah.
Offensive line, defensive line. I think the best, maybe in both of those position groups in the entire National Football League. And Jalen Hurts has been really good. He's done a lot with what he has there on offense, but it does start up front. And when we think about how the Bills match up with these teams in terms of the spot you want to get to, I think that's a key part of it. The Chiefs have the same thing. The Chiefs have a really good offensive line. Yeah, everybody talks about Mahomes. He's awesome. But every year the Chiefs have tried to improve that offensive line, and I think this is the best group that they have.
Well, and the Chiefs rebuilt it after their Super Bowl loss to Tampa Bay, where they got absolutely dominated, and they did it rather quickly. And they did it also through the draft, but they also did it through free agency. Like, that is where you look at this, and I agree. If it's, I don't know whether you want to say it's 1A or 1B, whether what the gap is or what's missing from the Bills compared to the Eagles and Chiefs, it's offensive line and skill position. Whichever one you want to go with first, it's 1A or 1B. So I agree. I do think they need to address the offensive line to help Josh Allen, but I look at the Eagles' pass catchers.
Yeah.
I look at their running backs. I would take Kenneth Gainwell. I would take him in the Bills.
But also their offensive line is so good too. And I think that's one of the things. Like, the Chiefs have been able to get so much great play out of their rookies, which I feel like in terms of the Bills, like some of the draft picks,
how about that?
You talk about like wanting to see those results and not having seen those yet. But I think of this Chiefs team, like, they got rid of Tyreek Hill, and they still have a phenomenal offense. Now, look, Patrick Mahomes is obviously a piece of that, but to still have the consistent production that we've seen from them, that's why I feel like offensive line is something more to kind of hone in on, because Patrick Mahomes had time. That matters.
It does. And I would say this. I think what's missing from the Bills, and while it's offensive line, it's skill position guys, it's also easier to highlight when it is right before the Super Bowl, right? And there's two games that the Bills fell short.
Yeah.
On offense, the biggest thing to me is they don't have an identity.
He beat me to it.
They do not know what they are. Now, maybe they know what they want to be.
That's it.
And I'm going to tell you
They
this.
are Josh Allen.
I think Sean McDermott has been pushing towards this for a couple of years. And maybe he takes his old school approach, but I think he wants that more physical mindset. That comes from Brandon Beane, and it comes from Ken Dorsey, or however they're going to run this offense. I think that was the pushback between he and Brian Daboll. But if I'm Brian Daboll, I'm saying, you didn't give me a physical offensive line. You gave me Josh Allen, and he made it work. It didn't happen with Dorsey. They need an identity. This is what we want to be.
It's scheme.
Scheme is part of it. Scheme is the plays you call. The identity is this is what we do well.
Like I said, you look at what the Eagles.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's we joked around, and you were talking about, we were making fun of a well-known analyst on national TV, but we said to go system quarterback.
Oh, Chris Sims. Yeah,
Chris
this is
Sims.
silly.
System quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts. Well, you need to have a good quarterback and a system.
Good system.
The Bills didn't have a system. So you look at all these things, and you go look at the Chiefs, it's Andy Reid's system. Andy Reid is his own system.
And look, Jenna, put Josh Allen on either one of these teams. The Eagles would adjust their system for Josh Allen, and they would make it work. And Andy Reid calling plays for Josh Allen.
Dang.
Well, we've seen what he does for Mahomes. He would be great. Now, that doesn't absolve Josh of everything.
No.
But he would be great. So these are goals. They've been looking up to the Chiefs, and now the Bengals are there. But these are goals to be more like these teams. But
it's
feel better, though. You do start out with Josh Allen.
Correct.
Yeah.
As a quarterback.
But I feel like Bills fans right now are in that spot where you feel better because you have Josh, and he's still young, and he's still ascending, you would expect, going into his prime. But then you see the Chiefs and the Bengals and the Eagles. And look, if the Niners were healthy, obviously the Brock Purdy injury massively impacted that game. But you see where the rest of the elite top-tier teams are in the NFL, and it does feel like there's
Oh, yeah. Oh, it feels like there's. Last year, when they lost the 13 seconds, it felt like they were. Actually, I thought they were the best team in the NFL.
I
agree.
So you can get back to that, but it's identity. And by the way, Brock Purdy could have played the Eagles. We're going to handle the Niners.
I mean, you know what I'm
There
saying, though.
Yeah, I had to get that in there.
I also think it is funny that it's so easy to point out and say, well, just improve the offensive line.
Yeah.
Like just improve it. Like, Trent Williams don't grow on trees. Lane Johnsons don't grow on trees. Part of it, and that is what the Chiefs do that is also as impressive, is that when you have an immobile quarterback like Mahomes, you're able to tweak systems, schemes, game planning, all of those things. The Chiefs were down to 3 wide receivers that I didn't know who they were in the AFC Championship game. They still made it work. So I go back to this thing with coaching and players, and I still go back and forth because I don't know which one I'm more upset about with where the Bills lacked.
Well, Jenna, when you don't get to your goal and you know you're talented, it's
I
never one thing.
Sorry.
Wow. The host with a comment here.
Talk about me.
Oh, I know. That's what. Wow.
A little self-deprecation never hurt nobody.
But when you don't get there, but the reality is it's not about any individual coach. It's not about an individual player. It's not about just the schemes. It's overall. Brandon Beane's got to be better. Sean McDermott's got to be better. Dorsey's got to be better. Frazier's got to be better.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's got to be better. That's the ultimate goal. By the way, you talk about that O-line, I say about Beane. On the Eagles O-line, all 5 starters, top 2 backups, all drafted by the Eagles.
That's incredible.
All drafted by the team, all 7 of them.
This offseason, the most
It's a big one for
questions
Beane.
we've had around Brandon Beane.
Yep.
It's an interesting spot to be.
You either win or you panic.
Yeah, and it's
It's true.
big panic in the offseason.
And there's
I
a
will say,
lot
though,
more time to panic in the
Well,
offseason.
the difference is
It is recency bias,
It
as we
is.
all know. But the poor taste, the absolute terrible taste that was left in Bills fans' mouth after that loss against the Bengals.
I think it's a good thing for the organization.
I think it's very motivating.
Be ticked off. You should be ticked off.
And
with
I
the
think
way
this gives them the leeway to ask and have really hard conversations about players, where they're at, where they need to be, and where the money is. And
Yep.
that is something that maybe last year was kind of the run it back model. And
Yeah.
I mean, you could say how it played out. All right, your pick for this game in the Super Bowl.
I have the Eagles winning the game. I think they're the better team. I think if they get the lead, they're going to control the game. The Chiefs are really good. And Patrick Mahomes is the best player on the field in this game.
Yeah.
But I think the Eagles have more quality players in total. And I think that has shown itself. I think they're, again, when you're good on both lines of scrimmage, man, you start out in a good spot in those games. I think Hurts will play well. He doesn't have to be great. For the Chiefs to win, Mahomes has got to be great. I think he might be in this game.
Yeah.
But I have the Bills. Oh, boy. I'm sorry, I put them in the Super Bowl. I have the
Next
Eagles
year. Super Bowl
beating
58.
the Chiefs 31-23. 31-23
Really?
Eagles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a pretty commanding win.
Well, they beat the Patriots 41-33, so I'm giving another 8-point win.
Oh, got
about
it.
that?
Got it. All
There
right,
you go.
Dan, what do you think?
I think the Eagles are the better team in nearly every facet, and I'm going to take the Chiefs.
See?
I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Wow,
Look,
the setup was really good.
Not bad, right? Talent. Pause. Own it. Yeah, and it's just because I think they have the better coach, and I think they have the better quarterback, and it's just simply because of those 2 reasons. And we have talked about it. This is a legacy game, more in the sense for Patrick Mahomes and for Andy Reid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That if
definitely.
all of a sudden, I think this is a case where everybody's talking about how great the Eagles are, and the Chiefs have had 2 more weeks or 10 days or however long you want to call it, to be the underdog again. Something that they loved being against the Bengals. I think they pull it out again. I don't think it's pretty. I think this game is low scoring. I'm the opposite of Mike.
Yeah.
I think this game goes under the total, and I'll take the Chiefs as a small underdog to get the win.
I will say this. Andy Reid's awesome. He was great with the Eagles. He is the better coach up until Sunday at 6:30. And the way he is handling a game is going to cost the Chiefs in this one. Absolutely. Extra timeout, bad challenge, whatever it is.
You heard
and
it
whatever
here.
Nick Sirianni has done this year has
He
worked.
is something.
And it's all working for him.
It is.
And he's been a better game coach. He blew away Kyle Shanahan in that game. Totally outcoached Brian Dable, the guy we love, totally outcoached the Giants in that game.
But the Giants were so much worse.
It's so hard to think about in comparing those two games to
Yeah,
anything.
I agree.
Well, there's no reason to compare. The Giants was just a legitimate game. They were coming off a big win. They came in feeling pretty good.
It's the Giants, Mike.
I'm saying
I
as it
love
was.
Brian Dable as much as the next guy, but we all knew after they beat the Vikings that they were.
It was
fool's
It
gold.
was 28-0 at halftime.
I'm aware.
And they dominated the Niners.
I bet the Giants.
Every decision he's
They
made.
dominated the
you
Niners.
bet the
but-
Giants.
I know.
That's what I'm telling you.
Well, I didn't bet against Brian Dable all year.
Yeah.
It's not going to buck the trend.
You should have bet against him there. I'm saying is it will happen in this game. Andy Reid's going to make a big mistake. That's what'll happen.
Okay.
I'll
Very
say the opposite
confident.
because I think Sirianni hasn't played a big game that has been close, and I think this game will be close, and Sirianni will get cute and make a mistake.
Okay. Two things.
Yeah.
One, I'm scared for the city of Philadelphia either way.
Yeah, I think it's
a win or a loss. And
Yeah, I think it's a little different mindset because they won 6 years ago. That was craziness because you think they may never make it back
And it
again.
was against Brady.
It was against Brady.
I don't
yeah.
know. I have a lot of Philly friends, and it doesn't seem like that. But I hear you because
Yeah.
obviously that was a huge one.
Yeah.
All right. I am struggling in this one because Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes also doesn't seem to be 100%. I know the talk is out there. He's practicing. He had an extra week to recover, all these things. But high ankle sprains take time, and they can be massively impactful. I have the E-A-G-L-E-S.
Look at
I have
this.
the Eagles.
It's always you two ganging up on me.
Yeah, because you're Dan. I do have the Eagles in this game. I think roster-wise, when you look at where the Eagles are at, I mean, obviously Jalen Hurts is a guy that's younger. He doesn't have the production of Patrick
no.
Mahomes. So yeah, look, the Chiefs have the better quarterback. That's not a surprise. But I just think when you look at the depth of this Eagles roster and the tenacity, the grittiness, I don't know. I feel like they kind of embody the city of Philly and just kind of there's going to be just a next level, I expect. And I think those trenches are huge.
The Chiefs have Mahomes, awesome.
Yeah.
Best quarterback in the NFL. And they also have your favorite player, Travis Kelce.
I don't like Travis Kelce.
See, Jen and I are in the same boat. We have no skin in this game by any means.
No.
My Chiefs pick is an emotional hedge. I am rooting for the Eagles and for my good friend Mike Catalana here.
But he's our boss. Why wouldn't you be like, yeah, Eagles?
Because I don't win money.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
I do want to put a prop bet.
Oh.
I want to do a prop bet. I want to do yellow Gatorade for the
We need to
Eagles.
get a Buffalo Plus sports book. That should be the next thing.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? It's just Dan's face.
It's just me going broke.
It's just Dan dealing with a calculator
Yep.
in his basement with his cat Winston. All right. Please be sure to follow along for more. We'll have reaction all off season long. Mike
My
and
best
Dan.
bets will be up tomorrow.
Okay,
and Friday.
perfect.
And you check out our podcast. Up there currently is what the Bills are going to do with their defensive free agents.
Yes.
Coming up next week, we're going to look at the offense, the guys who are free agents, some of the moves they might make.
Yeah.
And then coming up after that, we're going to look at some of the trades they could make with guys who are still under contract. So got some stuff.
A lot
Buffalo
of interesting
Plus.
conversations to be
Absolutely.
had. There's definitely, Brandon Beane has a lot of decisions to make. All right, cool. For Mike and Dan, I am Jenna. Please be sure to comment what your score prediction is for the Super Bowl, as well as your biggest concern for the Bills in the offseason. Oh, okay, whatever. For Mike and Dan, I'm Jenna. We already did that. Like, comment, subscribe. We've already done that. Bye. See ya. That was rough.